Good evening, everybody. It's so wonderful to be back here at Mussar Mondays. Just a quick two very important notices. The first is that tonight's class is dedicated in honor of the Refuah Shalema for our dear friend and classmate Gary. Gary fell and he was in the ICU, and I went to visit him this morning. And hopefully he'll be back. Our hope and prayers are that he return to our class quickly and with a speedy recovery. Amen. Amen. The second important announcement, not as important as Gary, but our very important announcement, is that here you have the brand spanking new Torch calendar.
Yay!
For 2019 and 2020. They're fresh off the press. You should be getting them in your mailbox in the next couple of days. They're all going to be mailed out tomorrow. But if you're so excited and can't wait, that's fine. We have right here at the center, anybody from out there, you can all come to the Torch Center and get your very own copy, free, anytime. We have it at the front door. We have over here in the hallway. So I'm looking forward to everyone having being on the same page, right? All right. Back to Mesilat Yesharim, to the teachings of Ramchal. So we said last week that
The path of the righteous.
Very good. Okay. Where did we leave off last week? 29. On the top, right? That's what we're holding? Okay, terrific. Thank you. Okay, so we're up to page 29 in the Art Scroll edition of the Mesilat Yesharim, right? Way of the upright, or Path of the Just. What's upside down? No, Hebrew books are always open up.
I know that, but I was wondering, it looked like it was upside down.
No, it's perfect. All right, so having explained that man's purpose in this world is to attain closeness to Hashem, Ramchal now proceeds to explain that the entire purpose of the world itself is to enable man to attain that closeness. Okay, so the reason why we're here is to attain that closeness. Now, we spoke about pleasure, the pursuit of pleasure, and we're not backing off that, right? That's why we're here. We're here for pleasure. But how do we get ourselves to be in a state of closeness with Hashem, which is the ultimate pleasure? So, our sages, the Ramchal tells us the following: if you delve into this matter further, you will see. You will see that the entire world was created for the use. Everything around us created for our use. It was created for us to enjoy from it. However, the results of this world that we are here for, that is here for us to enjoy from it, right? We have a big challenge. If a person is drawn after the physical enticements of this world, and in effect is distanced from his Creator, then he becomes degraded, and the entire world around him becomes degraded. So what we have is like this: if a person loses focus, loses the direction that he needs to go in, using the world as a place for closeness to Hashem, what's the purpose? The purpose of this world, again, is to get closer to Hashem. Everything we have is there, placed as an opportunity for us to get closer to Hashem. Now, if we use what we have around us to get closer to Hashem, great. But what's if we use it and we say, you know what? I'm just using it for myself. I want to use it for my own personal pleasure. Then you know what happens? Now you've degraded yourself and you've degraded the purpose of all of this physicality that's around you. Let's put this into practical terms. Food. We all know food. Hopefully we all love food, right? Eric, we like food? Right? Food? What's your favorite food?
I like Chinese food.
Chinese food. There we go. Right? Chinese food. So we have delicious Chinese food here in Houston that is kosher. And you can go, actually several different locations offer kosher Chinese food.
Really?
So you go and you get your kosher Chinese food. So now, there are two ways that you can eat that Chinese food. You can eat that Chinese food saying, this is a tool for me to connect to the Almighty. I am going to use this energy that comes from this food, this delicious food, my favorite food, to serve Hashem with greater joy, to serve Hashem with greater energy, with greater fervor. Or, no, it's just about food. I just want to have good dinner. That's it. So one is about serving me, and one is using it as a tool to serve the Almighty. It's the same food, but very different results. So one, the food is food, and we're physical, desiring people who just want that food. And now the food, it sort of diminishes the greatness of what we can accomplish. Versus we can elevate not only the food, but ourselves through that same exact experience. You could do the same thinking about a car. You could use the same fancy car, right, that has 4 wheels. Imagine a car that has 4 wheels, and it has air conditioning. It has a window that goes up and down. Anybody have a window that turns like this anymore? I mean, people do. My children have never seen it. Right? They would probably be in a car that has a, what do you call it? A rotary window, right?
Crank.
Right? A rotary phone. Nobody even knows what that is.
Do you know what it is?
Of course, I grew up with it. I'm not that young. I'm not as young as I look.
You're younger than my little boy.
So, right? See, today the kids would come into the car. They'd be, "Where's the button? Where's the button?" Right? Today everything is auto lock, auto open, auto start, it's unbelievable. But that's not the point. The point is it's there to serve you, serve Hashem. So we could use it as a tool for elevating the world around us. Or we could use it as a tool and it just is what it is, and then we are just use it as an object, and then it is degraded, and we are degraded with it. Okay, he becomes degraded and degrades the world with him. However, if he controls himself and cleaves to his Creator, meaning using those tools, using those gifts that Hashem gives us, but using them to serve Hashem, using them to elevate ourselves, using them as a tool to connect with the Almighty on a higher level, then and uses the world only as an aid in the service of his Creator, he becomes elevated, and the world itself becomes elevated with him. So anything that you have has the ability of serving you for your own personal pleasure, or serving you for your service of Hashem. And it makes a very big difference in our perspective in life. Right? Think of your home. Your home could be used to show your friends, look how fancy my house is, look at the chandelier, and look at this. Or you can use your home as a place where people can come and enjoy a Shabbos dinner. You can use it as a place where people who need a place to stay can stay. You can use it as a place to do acts of kindness. You can host events. You can do many things in a home. Or you could use it just for your own personal grandeur. You can use it for your own personal show off. Same thing with our cars, same thing with our clothes. And I'll tell you where the challenge begins, okay? So imagine someone calls you up and says, "Hey, Dave, can I borrow your car?" So Dave says, "You know what, my car is, a 1990 Toyota Corolla, no problem, take it." But Dave, who's driving a 2018 Infiniti, and his friend calls him up and says, "Hey, can I borrow your car?" Well, listen, if my car was a 1990 Jalopy, one thing. But my 2018, Jaguar, I don't think so. Right? Why? What does it make a difference? What does it make a difference? It's a mitzvah. It's an opportunity that is coming away. Someone needs it for 10 minutes just to run groceries, to do something. Their car broke down. They need to do carpool. Whatever it is. What's so different? What's the difference? There's no difference. There's no difference. But in our minds there is, because this one brings me pride, this one brings me honor, this one brings me, what my neighbors say. But the truth is, it's not any different. This is a tool to serve you, and that is a tool to serve you.
My rates are going to be a lot less than Ava's.
That's right. But yes.
What if you can't afford to buy another car
What? Okay. You know what? Yeah. We'll figure out that. We'll pass that bridge when we get there.
I'll send us your insurance policy.
So, but the idea here is that we need to always be thinking, am I serving Hashem or am I serving myself? Is this food really because I want to serve Hashem and be a better person and have energy to do the will of Hashem? Or is this just food to fulfill my own personal physical needs? Is this, are these clothes just so that I look better for Shabbos? Or are these clothes so that I look better for me? It's a very small difference in how we the energy with which we put into the different things around us. Is it for the purpose of Hashem? I'll tell you something very, very amazing. So we mentioned this. I'm not sure if we mentioned it here in the Mussar class or in a different class. But imagine people were giving lots of money. Let me just ask a different question before we get there. Has anybody here ever heard of an organization that said, "Please don't donate anymore, we have enough money"? Anybody ever heard such an organization? Never. Never, ever. You'll never hear. Imagine a federation, right, tells you, no more donations accepted because we have too much money, right? No such thing. They'll take more money and more money. Think of Yale. Yale has a $20 billion endowment fund. $20 billion endowment fund. You think they need more money? You think they close their development office? I don't think so. Okay? They're not closing it down anytime in the near future. Never such a thing, except in the Holy Temple. In the Holy Temple, Moses says, enough! We have too much. Too much. Right? And he says, no more donations accepted. No more. Why? Because everybody wanted to be part of building the temple, the house of Hashem. Everyone says, I want to be part of this. This is Hashem's house. I want to be part of this. What happened with the people's money? Now, most people, you can imagine, don't want to give, their money. They don't want their money to go for the light fixtures, right? To change the light bulbs for maintenance. I want mine to go for the menorah. I want mine to go for the ark. I want mine to go for the altar. I don't want my money, right? So you know how the money was decided? Whose money went to what? The Almighty played it out that by the intention the person gave it with, the purity of mind with which they gave that money, is how special that money was allocated for. How special an item that money was allocated for. So imagine, you have this very, very affluent Jew, lived in Syria. He comes in with his chariots. He's coming into Jerusalem for the holidays, Passover. He comes in with his horse and buggy. Comes in with all his riches. He comes to the temple, and everyone's like, "Wow, the wealthy, the bigwig from Damascus. He came to the holy temple." Okay. He comes. He brings this beautiful chest filled with gold coins and says, "Here, Aaron, this is for the temple." Or whoever the Kohen Gadol was. "Here you go. Here's my donation." Think like, wow, that should go for good things. Then you have this poor Jew who saved up a few pennies. He saved up a few pennies. And was able to, he comes to the temple. He says, I have the privilege to give to the temple. Here, take my one shekel. Right? Take the 1 shekel that I have here. I'm so happy I can give my 1 shekel. Hashem was able to discern who gave it for the sake of heaven versus who gave it for the sake of themselves. And perhaps 100% of that 1 shekel went for the most incredible elements of the temple, while all of those gold coins could have gone for the less important things. Depending on what? The intention. What is the intention? It all hides behind the intention. You know what our sages tell us? Rachmana liba boi. The Almighty wants liba. What's liba? The heart. The Almighty wants the heart. That's what the Almighty wants. It's with prayer. It's with our actions. It's with everything that we do. Hashem wants our heart. That's the most important thing. So if a person, you know what? God blessed them with great wealth. God blessed them with great success. God blessed them with fine food. That's great. But now are you using it for yourself? Or are you going to use it to glorify the name of Hashem? Or are you going to use it so you have energy so you can focus in the next Torah class? Come back to Torch to learn another class. And come back to Torch to learn another class. Right? Are you going to use it to glorify the name of Hashem? We're going to do, you know what? Okay, I'm going to just, this is just for me. For my own self-satisfaction. So the Ramchal is telling us is a very, 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 it's a very delicate balance. Because if you use it to elevate, then it gets elevated and you get elevated with it. And if you use it for personal self-aggrandizement, for selfish purposes, then you go down and it goes down with you. Right? So it's a very important balance that we need to be very, very cautious of. Ki hinei ilui gadol hu lebriot kulam. For indeed, it is a great elevation for all things in creation. V'heyotam mishamshei ha'adam hashalem. When they are used to serve a spiritually perfected man. When, I remember when I was a little child, my mother bought us a record. I actually still have that record. I have a record player, and I've actually played that record not long ago. But it was called The Mitzvah Tree. Was the name of the record. And the vinyl, those, not the rap music one, right? The real vinyls, right? And I remember one of the stories was someone went to the supermarket, to the grocery store. It was 1980s before they had supermarkets. It was grocery stores. So you went down to the little fruit store down the block, the fruits and vegetable store, and what they were saying on this recording was that all of the apples were fighting. Ooh, pick me, because you're going to say the special blessing before you eat me. All the apples were fighting. Pick me. And it's true. The apples in the spiritual realms are saying, I want you to make the blessing on me. Right? Look at me. Make the blessing on me. The apples, in a spiritual sense, are fighting to be chosen by you. What's the big deal? If I pick him, I pick him. They want to be a tool through which we connect with Hashem. You understand? Now it fulfilled its purpose. Listen to the final words here. For indeed it is a great elevation for all things in creation when they are used to serve a spiritually perfected man who is sanctified with the ultimate sanctity of Hashem. Blessed be He. So it's two people eating an apple. Could be two very different people. One used that apple to fulfill their own desires. One used the apple to serve Hashem. How? They made a blessing through it. The apple was used as a tool to connect to Hashem. You ever wonder why people make a kiddush? Why do people make a kiddush? Someone has a baby, they make a kiddush. So they have a bris for a boy, and they have food, and they have a whole meal. What's the whole deal with this food? Jews are always busy with food. You go to shul on Shabbos, there's a kiddush in honor of someone, in memory of someone. What's the honor? Because now everyone's going to get together, everyone's going to say a blessing, bringing God into this world. In whose honor? In honor of this person's healing, in honor of this person's memory, in honor of this person's birthday. It brings merit to that person that people made a blessing because of them. Now there's a kiddush. In honor of that person, people are saying blessings, and now that brings merit to that individual. Because the food is not just food. The food is used as a tool to bring God into this world. It's such a fundamental principle. Right? Food is not just food. Food is a tool to bring us closer to Hashem. Not only through the blessings, but also through the energy that comes from it. Yes?
So there might be hope for all those people that might be a little bit softic, that we're putting down a lot of prayers.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. So it's
Right?
not that bad.
Right? You know what they say? They say that there are some people.
I'm Zoftic.
They say that there are.
I am.
They say that there are some people who eat because they want to fill their stomachs. They say, no, I only eat because I want to make a blessing. Right? That's what you have to do. Right? You say, listen, I'm going to take one of each on the menu because I want to make a blessing on everything. Right?
Make sure it's over prime rib.
Yeah. That's right.
Kosher prime.
David,
So
make 100 profits a day, right?
that's right, and that's exactly the idea. Is that. So I'll tell you an amazing story. I remember saying this someplace in one of the classes. I'm sorry, Scott. You're coming to many classes, so now you're probably hearing things over again, right? Hopefully, I have hopefully new material, right? But either way, hopefully, right? An amazing story. There was a very, very fine young girl, not young, but she was in her later 20s, and she really wanted to get married, maybe early 30s, maybe late 30s. She really, really, really wanted to get married. And she'd go out, and nothing worked out. Nothing worked out. So her family went to the rabbi. Excuse me. Went to the grand rabbi in Bnei Brak, Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky. And they asked him, they said, what do we do? Our daughter keeps going out, and nothing's working out. What do we do? So the rabbi asked, he says, when this girl was born, did you make a kiddush in shul? So they're thinking, and they said, no, we forgot to make a kiddush. For whatever reason, we didn't make a kiddush. She said, go make a kiddush, and then it'll open up the doors. So you think to yourself, right, what would it make a difference? It turns out they made a kiddush, and she got engaged very shortly after, and married. Right? So you think to yourself, what does it make a difference if you have a kiddush? Because guess what happens when people make a kiddush, people say blessings. It brings merit to that individual. It brings merit to that individual. Even, right? Other people saying a blessing. That's why when people come into one's house, when people come into your house, we give them something to drink, we give them something to eat. Say a blessing in my house. Because by By making a blessing in the house, now you're bringing the blessing of Hashem into your home. It's a very different experience, right? It's not just, coming and saying hi. Now you've brought a blessing into the home as well. It's a very, very powerful thing. You know who we learn this from? We learn this from Abraham. And we learn this from Jacob. And we learn this from many, many others. We're going to talk about them right here. 2 examples to prove this last point. And this is similar to what the sages of blessed memory said. Regarding the light that the Holy One, blessed be He, stored for the righteous one. And these are their words. Once the light saw that the Holy One, blessed is He, had stored it for the righteous, samach, the light was gladdened, he was delighted. Shenemar, because it states in the verse in Proverbs, or tzadikim yismach, the light of the righteous is gladdened. Ube'inyan avnei hamakom, the second thing, meaning the light belongs to those who are righteous. Again, there's light. We see light, right? We have light here. But there's a totally different light that the righteous experience. A totally different light. The light is on an elevated plane for those who are the righteous. Now, it's interesting that the light we have today, right, is not the same light that they had in the Garden of Eden. That light was put away. For when? For the right time. God hid it away for the right time, and in the right time, that light will be shown only to the righteous. Everyone remember the story of Jacob? Jacob gets tired, suddenly gets night falls, right? And he decides he's going to go take a little nap. So what does he do? He gathers together some stones, or sages say he put those stones there to protect himself from the wild animals, to be all around him so they don't eat him up. And what happens? He wakes up, and the stones became into a single stone, referring to the 12 tribes that were separate that became unified into one. They had love between one another. They became close with one another. Eventually, later, they didn't remain separate, they became one. Similarly, regarding the stones of the place that Jacob took and set under his head, Amru, our sages said, Amr Rabbi Yitzchak said, Melamed shenitzkaptzu kulam lemakom echad. This teaches that all the stones that Yaakov placed around his head gathered to one place. V'haisakol achas omeres Allah yaniach tzadik rosho. And each one was saying, upon me, the righteous one, should lay his head. Right? What does a stone know from a righteous person? It's a stone. It's not a stone. It's a tool. It's a tool that God brought into this world to serve the righteous, to serve us, to help us serve Hashem. So in essence, if now we use that stone appropriately, now the stone fulfilled its purpose. Right? Think about that. The stone has a sort of a spirit connected to it as well. When you use that stone to help you elevate your own self in becoming closer to God, now it fulfilled its purpose. Got it? So now you can have... Yes, you had a question.
Oh, I just want to know, is that why all things have a nefesh too?
Yes. Everything has a spiritual, think of this, I'll give you an example, okay? It leads us a little bit to the idea of hakarat tov, having the recognition for the good, from the benefit that you've enjoyed of something. My mother went to pay a shiva call for a great rabbi who lived in Muncie. Here, I'll open it for you. Sure. Open it for you. Susan, can you open it for her? All right. So there was a great rabbi who lived in Muncie, where we grew up, in upstate New York. His name was Rabbi Mordechai Schwab. He was a very short man, very big tzaddik, and he had a smile the size of the universe. His light, the light that would shine from him. I remember I would see my mother sometimes in the middle of the day, because our school was on a pretty main road. My mother would stop by if she would see us playing outside of school. My mother would stop by just to say hi, and she would say, I saw Rabbi Schwab. I saw Rabbi Schwab. Her day was a different day. She saw the great tzaddik. He didn't have to say anything. She just saw him. So when he passed away, my mother went to pay a shiva call to his Rebbitzin. And the Rebbitzin said an amazing story. I've shared this before. That when he had a pair of pants that were all worn out, he would fold it up beautifully as if it was brand new. And every night, he would stroke it nicely, saying, "Thank you for keeping me warm. Thank you for dressing me so I could look good for my service of Hashem. Thank you for taking care of me." So you think about it. Here you have an inanimate object, a pair of pants. But what was that pants created for? It was created to serve him. It was created to serve him. And here it fulfilled its purpose. It served him. And he's showing his gratitude for it. You don't just take it, throw it out. It served you. It fulfilled its purpose. And he would move it a little bit down on the bed. And the next day he would do the same thing and move it a little bit further. And the next day, he kept on doing it until he got to the edge of the bed. And then he wrapped it respectfully, nicely in a bag and disposed of it. But, it's a sensitivity to understand that everything in this world is here to serve us in our service of Hashem. There's nothing wrong with enjoying good things. But the question that needs to be asked is not whether or not we could enjoy it, but is it really serving us to serve Hashem, or is it serving us to serve us? For my self-aggrandizement, for my gratification? Is it for myself to feel good about myself, to be able to show off? Or is it really here to help me become a better person? For me to fulfill my role in this world? That's the question that we each need to answer for ourselves. Right? Is that exercise? Exercise is a great thing. But is the exercise there so that I look good? Or is the exercise there so that I be healthy, so that I can serve Hashem? It's the same exercise. What does it make a difference? No, it's a huge difference. One is me, so I can look fit, I can have the body I want, versus so that I can be healthy, so I can serve Hashem, so I can do everything I need to do more effectively and for longer. There's a responsibility to take care of your body.
Aryeh,
Yeah.
Can an act have a dual purpose, or is it one or the other?
So give me an example.
Working out.
So working out is, I think, a classic example of how we can convince ourselves that it's to serve Hashem, but really it's so that we can fit into our clothes, the dream clothes that we have. We want to get fitted, we want to look good, we want to be attractive for dating, whatever it is. It's great. But is that for me, or is that for Hashem?
Both?
No. It's one or the other. It could be for me if I indeed are serving Hashem.
Is it either or?
Well, again, it is either or. Unless you are committed to serving Hashem. And then that's fine.
So,
Yes.
So what if you say out loud, oh, I'm doing this to serve Hashem? How do you make it be true that that's really why you're doing it?
Okay, so again, we can trick the whole world. We can't trick Hashem.
Right, yeah.
And we surely cannot trick ourselves.
So what do we do to make it more than just something we think
Okay,
is
so
right?
we have to internalize this idea. Our purpose in life is to serve Hashem. Everything we have is to serve Hashem. So if we have an opportunity to, give me any example for anything. Your computer. You have a computer? You know what your computer is for? To serve Hashem. That's what it's there for. In what way am I using it to serve Hashem? If I'm only using it for my own self, right? So it depends. If I'm using it for whatever purpose, so that I can just rejuvenate and refresh myself, so that I can go to work the next day with inspiration. You're watching TED Talks, so you can be inspired and so you can grow. Okay, so it's being used for a good purpose. But if it's only being used, for my own personal things and not for the purpose of serving Hashem, then it could be problematic. Again, this is not to say that you can't enjoy this world. We gave the first 4 classes was telling us how our obligation is to enjoy this world, and we're going to be held accountable if we don't enjoy from this world. Dave, you agree with him?
Maybe.
Okay, it's fine.
What?
It's fine.
So you have to use
Why do
it
you
only.
hear everything?
What's
you have
that?
to use
He's
it
very good
only
at
for Hashem, or if you use it 90% to serve Hashem and sometimes just for fun.
I'll tell you the challenge. David, I'll tell you the challenge with dual purposes.
You heard again?
I'll tell you the challenge with dual purposes, okay? In that, we could convince ourselves certain things because we want to believe certain things. We want to believe that it's for the purpose of Hashem. We want to believe that this is to help us get closer. But ultimately, at the end of the day, turn it around, okay? So now, let's give the example, your car, right? Go back to your car example. Yeah, it could be also for yourself to have a nice car. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with having a nice car. But would you be okay lending it out? Yeah, you would be okay. Well, not everyone would be okay. They'll say, listen, not my Bentley. My Bentley's just for me. Right? That's not for anybody else. Right? Now, I understand. Why? Right? So the question a person needs to ask is, how is this helping me serve Hashem? Every single thing we do, we should be asking ourselves, how is this helping me serve Hashem? How is this helping me serve Hashem? Right? Well, it's very easy. If you're going you want to go to eat, right? Okay, so you have energy, so that now you can have more strength to serve Hashem. To sleep, even vacation, could be the service of Hashem. Why? So you can rejuvenate your energies and serve Hashem. But we have to be very careful whether or not that's always the case. Is that always the case? Or is it really because we're trying to serve Hashem? And nobody's going to answer that for you. Only you can answer that for yourself. Right? It's not like, oh, we're going to judge others. We're not here to judge other people. But for ourselves to really gain a clarity as to what is the motive behind what we do. Is the motive for myself to have extra pleasure, to have extra enjoyment, or is my motive here to serve Hashem?
Rabbi, supposing you're eating and you have the intention that it's going to strengthen you to serve Hashem, should you try not to enjoy the flavor of the food?
No. Enjoy the flavor of the food. You have it. Of course you should enjoy the flavor of the food. But you know what? I'll give you an example. Okay, my grandfather brings this down. What's if the food isn't good? That's the test. Is the food really there to serve Hashem? Or it's for me to feel good? Well, if the food is good, then fine, I'll serve Hashem. Hashem, this one's for you, right? Or, the food is not good, right? I'm not touching this, right? No. If the food is really there for you to serve Hashem, then even when it's not good, it's nourishment.
Well, of course.
It's an added benefit that it tastes good. It's an added benefit.
So you're allowed to get some enjoyment for yourself as
You're
well.
obligated to get enjoyment from it. You're obligated to get the enjoyment from it. However, again, if the food is not good, it doesn't taste exactly to your style, to your right, and you know what? Still, you have to eat it because it's for the nourishment, so that I can serve Hashem.
Right, and it was be a sin to waste food.
That's also true. That's also true. Okay, so now let's continue further. V'hinei al ha'ikar hazeh he'irunu zechonam levracha b'midrash Kohelet. By the way, we see the same we saw. Did we bring this down already? Regarding Abraham, right? We brought this example that Abraham, when he bought the field, right? So I gave this example, but I don't see it here in the Mesilat Yesharim. Here in this, but it said that when Abraham bought the plot of land, right? It says that the field was elevated. Vayakam Ephron. Right? The field of Ephron got elevated. Why? Because everything Abraham did was for the service of Hashem. So now the field, instead of being for the service of man, the field, by having the ownership of that field be owned by Abraham, now the whole field got elevated to a whole new purpose.
How does that feel?
Its purpose was no longer to serve man, it was to serve Hashem.
How does that feel now?
What's that?
How does that feel now?
It feels elevated. It feels elevated. V'hinei, ala yikar zeh hirunu zechonam levracha b'midrash Kohelet. Ramchal now cites proof to the principle that because the world was created for man's use, it stands in balance based on man's actions. And like we mentioned, obviously, intentions. Right? The intentions make all the difference. V'hinei, right? The sages of blessed memory informed us about this principle in Ecclesiastes. Shamru zelishonam. For they said as follows: Re'eh et ma'aseh ha'elokim. The verse states, "Observe God's deeds, for who can straighten what He has twisted?" B'sha'ah shebara kadosh baruch hu et adam rishon. This teaches that when the Holy One, blessed be He, created Adam, the first man, nitalo vehechziro al kol ilanei gan Eden. He took him and led him around all the trees of the Garden of Eden. God showed him everything. Ve'amarlo, and He said to them, Re'eh ma'asai kama na'imu mishubachim hem. See my deeds, see my creation, how nice and praiseworthy they are. Ve'kol ma shebarati bishvilcha barati, and everything that I created, you know why I created it? For you to enjoy. Tein da'atcha shelo tekalkel v'tachriv et olami. Take care, take extra precaution that you do not degrade and destroy my world. Anybody know the first command ever given to Adam? First command. What?
Name the animals?
No.
Be fruitful and multiply.
No.
Don't eat from the forbidden.
Don't eat from the forbidden tree. Wrong.
Wrong. Okay.
The first command was enjoy from everything. Enjoy from everything. Right? You have a chumash right there, the blue chumash right there sitting. There we go. Perfect. Please pass it here. Thank you so much. We go to Genesis and okay. We're in chapter 2, verse 15. Vayikach Hashem Elokim et ha'adam. And God, right, took Adam, vayinicheu began Eden, and placed him in the Garden of Eden. La'avda, u'lishamra. Right? I want to properly translate this. Right? To work it and to guard it. Vayitzav Hashem Elokim et ha'adam. And Hashem, God, commanded the man, Adam, saying, Lemor, Mikol eitz hagan achol tochel. Of every tree of the garden you may eat freely. That's the first command. You see it, you can eat it. But, now comes the first that you said, right? It's just really the second. But, of the tree of knowledge, of good and bad, you must not eat thereof. Right? For on the day you eat of it, you shall surely die. What's the first command again? Eat from everything. Enjoy from everything. There are a few restrictions. Right? There's a few restrictions. The first command given to mankind is, if there is a pleasure in this world, go enjoy. Go enjoy. There are some restrictions. God says, listen, this is a fake pleasure. That is a counterfeit pleasure. That one, don't waste your time on. There are real pleasures. Go after the real pleasures. Right? Food. Food is a great pleasure. We've discussed this, and Rabbi Milstein did a magnificent job on the 25th of December in our program discussing the 5 levels of pleasure. Right? Food is a great pleasure. But what happens when you eat too much? You feel sick to your stomach. Even if it's your favorite food, too much, you get sick from it. My father doesn't like chocolate. You know why?
He likes it too much.
You know why my father doesn't like chocolate?
Migraines?
It's
No. Because when he was bar mitzvah, his great aunt bought him a box, an enormous box of chocolate. And he ate all of that chocolate. And he never wants to see chocolate again. Right? It's a good way to get your kids off of candy, right? Try it. No, candy doesn't work. Doesn't work. But it's an incredible thing. God gave us this world for pleasure. He wants us to enjoy. But that's the challenge. Sometimes, and we look at the world around us, most of the times, when people have all of that pleasure, they have all of that luxury, they have all of that ability, they don't use it to serve Hashem. They use it to serve themselves. Right? It reminds me of the story that I've shared here before of the students I had around my table. We asked what would they do if they won that big lottery of $600 million. Right? Everyone has suddenly became so altruistic. And they became so holy. Oh, I'd give half to charity, and I'll give half this, and I'll support, and there'll never be poverty again. And look, there are more millionaires and billionaires today than there ever was in the history of the world. And for whatever reason, those problems still haven't been solved. Right? And it doesn't look like they're giving away half their wealth. Right? I know you have a few who signed that give away half their wealth, the pledge, but still, we don't see. It doesn't make it easier. You don't say, I try to explain to people when people say, this person has a lot of money, but they're cheap. So you don't understand. For us, it's like, okay, so we have, we don't have, we have, we don't have. But when people have such an incredible amount of money, they don't want to crack the next million. So they only have $8 left because it's it could be $2 million and $8. Right? So they can't spend 9 because then you understand? It's like you don't want to break that 100, right? So, but who's it there to serve? Is it there to serve us? Or is it to serve the Creator? And it's a question we have to ask ourselves every single thing we do. How is this helping me serve Hashem? Review it again and again and again. How is this helping me serve Hashem? And if the answer is, I don't know, then we need to work on it. Yes?
Some of us like to sit and watch a sporting event.
Mm-hmm.
How do we say that's going to be Hashem work?
So I'll tell you
Does
how...
that mean we should never watch
David, let me tell you how that is serving Hashem for you. For you.
For me.
Okay, yeah, 100%. I really believe it's serving Hashem.
You do.
You know what? Yeah, 100%. Because if you didn't have that outlet to watch that game, you wouldn't be able to come to 5 classes a week. So that's your counterbalance, right? In order for you to be able to come to so many Torah classes, right? That's the way you feed your Yetzer Hara a little bit. You feed your Yetzer Hara. You see, I'm not coming to Torch class Sunday night. I'm watching the Patriots Rams game. What was that? Patriots, Kansas City. Sorry, I should have known better, right? Or you would have watched that terrible call against our Saints, right? Right? So you're feeding your Yetzer Hara, telling him, you know what? Relax. When I go to Monday night and Tuesday night and Wednesday night and Thursday night and Friday night and every single day of the week I'm coming to another Torch class, I'm still watching my Patriots game. Relax. Don't. Because here's another thing. We have to always be considerate of our Yetzer Hara. If you try to battle him head to head, you know, cops, police officers, they're not looking for the guys who are going 3 miles over the speed limit. They're not looking for the guys who are going 6 miles over the speed limit. They're looking for the guy who's going 20 miles over the speed limit. That's what they're looking for. You know who that 20 mile an hour over the speed limit is? The person who says, I'm never watching another game. That Meshugana, right? That's what the Yetzer Hara wants. Right? He wants the guy who says, you know what? I'm cutting it because you're taking too big of a jump. Gotta take it one step at a time. One step at a time. Right? If someone, even observing a Shabbos, right? We have to be careful not to jump too fast. We jump too fast, we're bound to fall. We're going to fall. Take it one step at a time. But we have to be constantly focused of getting closer and closer to Hashem. All right? So yes. So that could be a way for you to just relax so that you can have energy and that you can go with enthusiasm to your next Torah class. And boom, like magic, you're here tonight.
Makes a lot of sense.
Right? Yes.
Does that mean that if I use my computer to do this and this and this for Hashem, I can sometimes use it just for fun?
Yes, absolutely. But again, there has to be a balance. And you are the only one who can determine that balance. Right? With honesty for yourself, for your own personal spiritual growth. But we all have things that are distractions. We all have things that are capable of getting us off our target. And it's dangerous because we don't want to be losing to our Yetzer Hara.
So if it's fun to watch Judaica on the internet, you know, people talking about what's in the Torah and blah, blah, blah.
Look, YouTube is a great example. YouTube is a fantastic tool to listen to Torah classes, right? It's also a fantastic tool to waste hours and hours and hours watching videos of cats flushing toilets.
What?
Right? Right? So yeah, the same exact tool could be used for positive, for uplifting purposes, could be used for negative purposes.
But if you're using it for a positive purpose and you're enjoying that,
Right. That's
that
great. That's great. You're supposed to enjoy your service of Hashem. You're supposed to enjoy it. But here's the danger. What are you going to do when it's not so enjoyable? When it's not so enjoyable, what are you going to do? And that's the very big challenge that people have today, is that we're in a world that we only do things we enjoy. Okay, what's about the things we don't enjoy? It's a problem today with our generation, young generation, with employment. Right? They come to a job and they tell them, hey, buddy, you're here 9 o'clock, you have a job. You're here 9:05, get out. He says, well, I don't enjoy coming at 9 o'clock. Right? Because our generation, our young generation is only accustomed to doing things they like to do. Well, I don't want to do that part of the job. It's not fun. I only do the fun parts. No, I'm telling you, I've had employers call me and tell me, what do I do? It's a big problem. I only want to do the fun parts. Right? So what's going to happen if our service of Hashem is only going to be the fun parts? Oh, prayer I like, so prayer I'll go to because I can get to socialize, I can get to talk. Yeah, I can get to sing, I can do. What's about the parts we don't like? Well, that we'll write off. To pick and choose Judaism, that's dangerous. Right? That's a very, very dangerous thing. The thing is that if a person is really focused on serving Hashem, if a person is really focused on serving Hashem, then they'll find a way to appreciate and enjoy every single mitzvah they do. Not only the fun ones. They'll find a way to enjoy everything that they do. So it all becomes, thank you, it all becomes part of their joy, part of their energy, their excitement in their life. Jay, are you comfortable with this? Yeah?
It's a little bit of a tough concept to get your arms around.
Okay, which part?
Well, when you saw Gary today, was that a mitzvah?
There's a mitzvah to go visit the sick, yes.
Okay. Did you? That was for Hashem. I mean, Hashem was pleased with that, or?
I sure hope so, because I can guarantee you there are a lot of places I prefer going than going to a hospital.
Yeah. But did you get something out of that?
What?
Personally?
I did not get anything out of it. I mean, not personally. I don't go there for joy. All right? I go there because there's a mitzvah to do it. I know it'll bring joy to them, to the person, and therefore I go. And it's a mitzvah, and I do it with joy. But to say, yes, I'm going to go to a hospital and see sick people. I'm delighted, right? Right? Now, again, if I was on a higher level, perhaps I would be overjoyed by that. But I'm a lowly guy, you know. Yeah. Yes.
But Rabbi, connecting with your understanding, I do think that once you do something that you maybe are not looking forward to, get up early and do it, but you feel better afterwards, or there are moments that you're really
But again,
gratified.
the truth is, it never occurred to me to think about whether I felt better because of it. It did not occur to me. I felt it as an obligation, as a mitzvah. God says, go out of your way and take from your time and go visit the person.
But it becomes easier to do the right thing because there is some gratification.
You don't do it because of the gratification. I'll tell you even more.
Well, it's like that fifth level of pleasure.
I'll tell you even more. I got there 5 minutes before he was being wheeled out to go get an X-ray, right? And he was sleeping, right? So, did I fulfill the mitzvah or not? He doesn't even know I came. He does not know that I came, right?
Were you disappointed?
What?
Were you disappointed?
I was not disappointed. Absolutely not. I'm going to go back, right? And hopefully then I'll be able to make him happy. But I know that even if he wasn't awake, I fulfilled the mitzvah.
You did?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
May I ask you, could you give us his Hebrew name? I mean, even if you just
I don't know his full name.
Okay.
I know it's Gershon something.
But even if you
But okay, so I'll tell you. The Gemara in Tractate Brachot says that for your friends you don't need their names. You don't need their names. You just have to have them in mind in your prayer, and Hashem knows who your friends are. Your friends are Hashem's friends. All you need to say, my friend Gary, you should have a refuah shalema, and that's enough.
make a donation,
Who
you
is
gotta
it?
have his name.
Even if you don't, you have the intention. That's what counts. Just intention.
Okay, I guess I'm confused. I really thought that at some level you derive a personal positive contact with the idea you're doing something for somebody else. You know, because-
Yes, but again, I did nothing for him.
No, that's not why you did it, but over time it becomes a amenity to doing, I thought.
We do it because Hashem wants us to do it. And it's the right thing to do.
But if
Can we do it for love?
I'm trying to say if you did it over
What's
and
that?
over without deriving any benefit, you might get frustrated over a period of time. And here,
Not if we do it for the sake of Hashem. If we do it for the sake of Hashem, it doesn't make a difference if I derive any pleasure. Yes.
There's a saying that you should run to do a mitzvah.
Right.
You don't get to pick and choose. Whatever presents itself to you. is
Exactly.
something there for you to take advantage of.
Exactly.
But he did benefit from it, so how can it
Of
just
course
be
he
a
did.
mitzvah?
Of course he did, because he gave him a blessing, or it's been.
It doesn't. I don't think it works like that. I don't think it works like that.
But doesn't he have to benefit?
No? Why? So you're telling me that if someone is unconscious in a hospital, you shouldn't go visit them because there's no benefit?
Because they're recognizing that, don't they?
But he didn't get the pleasure of seeing you.
So I'll go back. But is there no mitzvah in going? For sure there's a mitzvah in going. No question there's a mitzvah in going. Anybody wants to ride? We'll go. Go together. All right, they'll give it out after class. We'll go through it. Either way, but the idea here is, again, it has to do with our actions, and it has to do with the intentions of those actions. And if the intention of those actions, right? I have had personal experiences where, the laws of nature I felt didn't apply because sometimes you do something for purely altruistic purposes, and the laws of nature don't apply to it.
Huh?
Right? Yeah. Like, when your car gets to the gas tank gets to empty, right? So usually you have a little bit to go till you got to fill it up, right? So I was at that point where it was like below that point, okay? Below that marker of like, okay, it's gonna die any second. I said, you know what? But I didn't have time to do it earlier, and I'm rushing to a Torah class. I said, it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. The car is gonna roll. You know why? Because we're going to do a mitzvah. The laws of nature don't apply, and we made it there. And we made it to a gas station.
Yeah, but what happens then when you leave and you're gonna run out of gas? Don't you know?
I'm saying we made it to a gas station on the way out, but we were done.
That happened in Entebbe.
What's that?
That happened in Entebbe.
With-
You remember the rescue?
yeah, that's right.
They didn't have enough gasoline to escape, but they did.
That's right.
They saved them.
All right. Where are we up to here? So take care that you do not degrade and destroy my world. All right. So Ramchal summarizes what he has taught us so far and cites numerous additional proofs to it. Klalo shel davar. The general principle is as follows: Ha'olam lo nivra ba'avur matzavo ba'olam hazeh. Man, ha'adam lo nivra ba'avur matzavo ba'olam hazeh. Man was not created for a situation in this world, ela ba'avur matzavo ba'olam haba, but rather for his situation in the world to come. Ela shematzavo ba'olam hazeh hu emtzai lematzavo ba'olam haba. However, man's situation in this world is the means to reach his situation in the world to come. Shehu tachlito. For that is his ultimate goal and purpose. Our goal, the reason why we're here is not for here. The reason why we're here is for the world to come. So again, if we ask ourselves, so why am I doing this? Am I doing this to bring us to get closer to Hashem? Yes or no? Is this helping me get closer to Hashem? It's whether it's the exercise, whether it's the food, whether it's the sleep, whether it's the whatever it is, the vacation. Is this helping me get closer to Hashem? Yes. Why is it important to get closer to Hashem? You know why? Because we are not here for here. We're here for the world to come. And the only way to get to the proper place, to our proper destination in the world to come, is to connect to Hashem in this world over here. All right? We're good? Have a magnificent, amazing, terrific, stupendous, awesome rest of your week. And drive safely. Any questions before we go?
You came very close to answering a question I've had for a long time.
Okay.
The difference between a superstition and like doing Psalms, getting everything squeezed in before you start your day. And you can feel awful if you don't get it done. I mean, I have in the past. So anyway, I was trying to get a sense of what's the difference between getting all anxious because I didn't do what I normally do in the day. Then I guess because it's for the sake of Hashem, that's the answer, right?
Yep. Well, we'll talk about it to discuss that difference. You had a question, David.
So what is the more important, the action or the intention today?
Well, it depends. It really depends. The action, no question, but if the action is pure, but the intention is impure, right? So what does that help? It means you're giving charity, but so that you get your name on a plaque. There's a great cartoon There's a great cartoon they have in Israel. It's not a cartoon. It's like this quick. It's like a 30-second comedy routine, and they have all these funny things. So this guy, the scene starts, and the cameras are it's a hospital room, and the guy just got his kidney. He got a donation. So he says, so they wake him up. He's just waking up. He says, "Is everything okay?" They said, "Yes, everything is perfect. Everything is absolutely perfect. We got the kidney, and the kidney was put into you, and everything is perfect. But there was one thing that the donor requested." And they pull up his sheet, and there's a plaque. Donated by. My friends, have a good night.